Artyom, floor is yours.
Okay, hello guys. Glad to meet you. So today we are going to continue our Jenkins journey. And as usual, let me share you my screen and switch off the camera. So let's perform a quick review what is done and what we are going to do at this lesson. As far as I remember, as far as you and me remember, and the previous lesson, what was done? Our developer updates its code, then push to GitHub repository. Then, if branch main has been changed, GitHub initiated a webhook on Jenkins instance. Then Jenkins analyzes this webhook request in a JSON type and starts defining Jenkins pipeline. And first step is step build. And what happens? Jenkins asks GitHub to get the code, so it runs a git pull and receives code and Jenkins file with pipeline itself. So, and then pipeline starts to work. We have done build stage, we have done stage test, and now we are going to do a deploy stage. This is the final stage of our Jenkins pipeline. And what we are going to do at this lesson, we are going to SSH to a production virtual machine and run some bash scripts inside this virtual machine. For example, we need to do a git pull to update a code from GitHub. This is a developer updated code to GitHub. And then this code comes to Jenkins, and finally it comes to production server. And then somehow we have to restart our application. And then our happy user will find our code changed. So let's dive in. First of all, let me remember, let me find how to connect to our prod application. We were using this machine, and I will open console. And first of all, what I'm going to show you that at our lesson 2, we faced with the issue that we couldn't receive as HTTP response from this server. And now it works because there was a need to update firewall rules. By default, it was disabled. To do it, we run a firewall CMD at port 80 HTTP permanent, and then firewall CMD reload. And to check it, firewall cmd list all. Here we can see that a port is opened for application which is running on port 80. And to be and to ensure that the application is running, we can also check net start dash. Okay, and here we can see that port is used by web application, but it was launched at lesson 2. Okay, and now, of course, we can see that this application works how we expect. Let's stop this application. No such job. Okay, great. Oh, it could be quite easy. Okay, now we can see that there is no application running, and here web application doesn't work. Let's start to configure our production application. Of course, first of all, Golang should be installed already, and let's check. Yes, this is already installed. Then we need to install Git, because we will using GitHub as a source of code. And let's clone our repository from GitHub with web application. Okay, let me show you. On the previous lesson, we were using web app Go application, and inside this repository there was a Jenkins file with our pipeline. Okay. Now we can see that here we can have Jenkins file and web application. Now let's build it. And let's run this application. The application is running. Let's check it. Okay, it's just hello. And let's check. Okay, hello with two exclamation marks and hello with two exclamation mark, the same. So now our task to be able to establish SSH connection from Jenkins to production virtual machine for a deploy stage. For this purpose, we are going to install plugin, manage Jenkins plugins. Available plugin. Plugin is called SSH Agent. Let's install it. Jenkins is going to be ready. Okay, let's wait it a little bit more. Okay, Jenkins has been restarted successfully. So we have installed SSH Agent, and to be able to connect to production server, we need to use SSH Key pairs. So first of all, for example, let's use Jenkins instance for this purpose. SSH Key again. We'll generate SSH Key pair. And let's copy public key to production instance. What is the IP of the production instance? This one. Okay, number of key added 1, so it was successful. We can check it. Now we could SSH to production instance without any password. Oh. So let's check it. Okay, that's successful. You see here is the IP address has been changed, so we log it into another machine. Now we need to use these credentials, which was just generated. This is private key and public key to Jenkins. So we are going to manage Jenkins, manage credentials, credentials, system, global credentials, and add credential. And let's choose username with private key. As for the, it will be the identificator, username. What username? Let's use root as a username, and enter private key here. So, as I mentioned before, here it is a private key, and this is the public key. Now we need to copy paste private key. And let's create it. Oh, I would like to mention one thing, that a key generation could be run on any other Linux machine, doesn't matter. We was using it for purposes of generating a key pair. So here is our new credentials. And let's create new pipeline where they will be used. Okay. Let's create a secure SSH from sample pipeline. Okay, it's our sample pipeline, which we are using and upgrading during our lessons. And now we can change the deploy stage a little bit. I will change it to this one. So the stage deploy, and here is the step SSH Agent. We'll be using our credentials, and they will be running SSH command to virtual machine, production virtual machine. This could be taken here. And there will be only one command, which is uptime. So let's save it and try to build. So this pipeline finished successfully. And as we run command uptime, here is the output. It's uptime for 5 days. Okay, that's good. Now we know how to run a command on another Linux machine from Jenkins pipeline. And for example, to make sure that we are running this script on another machine, we can run IPA just to check the IP address. Let's save and build. Okay, here you can see that public IP address is the public IP address of production server. So let's move forward. Now we need to change deploy stage to be able to run, to be able to update production application. Okay, now let's let's move to our first of all, here is SSH. The last pipeline which was working with our in our lessons was pipeline web app build and test. Yes, this application was used for all the purposes. No, not this. Web app, GitHub webhook. This was our latest. So as we are using Jenkins file, now we are going to edit pipeline, not inside Jenkins, but in GitHub repository. So we are going to web application, GitHub repository, and edit Jenkins file. And now stage deploy should look like this. This public IP address of prod application, SSH, strict host key checking is no. We are not going to do any hardening on our lessons. And to run a command on production server, cd web application, git pull, go build, and run our web application. And we're using still credentials with username and private key. So everything looks fine. So, and let's commit our changes. So Jenkins file has been updated. And now I supposed to see that GitHub hook starts building this pipeline. And it fails. What is wrong here? Permission denied. It's interesting. Okay, let's check credentials. I suppose I could make the spelling mistake. Credential. Creates a server. Here creates a server. Okay, we can run secure SSH pipeline to make sure that these credentials is working well. Yes, this was built successfully. Let's check IP address, whether it is correct or not. Maybe we should use root. Okay, that was successful. Here was the mistake. Please pay attention. We need to use root username. Why there was a mistake? I suppose because we were using Jenkins as a username. Okay, so let's look at our output. Okay, there is a Nicholas and TCP being already in use. That's because we have run prod application in the terminal. Let's stop it. Then, for example, let's change the code. Hello for sorry. Let's change it. Hello from lesson 5. Our change. And let's look at pipeline output. As you can see, this is the result of git pull command. Web app go has been changed. We changed one line and removed one line and add one line. When we are changing something in one line. And what? We are waiting it to be finished. Let's check, maybe. Oh, it has already running. Hello from lesson 5. So it means that we have built application and we run it in foreground, but for some reasons, I suppose Jenkins is still waiting for some response. Yes, it's I suppose he will never stop. I don't know why, because we have this symbol. It's for running web application foreground by, as I suppose, maybe he thinks that it's end and waiting for someone else. For now, it's not very important, because in the next lessons, we will be running our application as a service, because it's not a real production environment. It's know how it should be run, because each time we have to find our application, kill them, and run once again. It's not how we should run it. And in upcoming lessons, we will be changing our application to service, and it will be run as a service, and we will be just restarting the service. So let's stop it by our hands. And for example, let's try to change application once again. And let's have a look. Okay, it has not changed, because our application was already, and it could be run once again on the same 80 port. So we should manually find and kill the application and then run it once again. But as it's not a good production solution, we won't be use it, and later you will see how to do it properly. So that's just a quick recap what has been done. A developer updates code to GitHub. GitHub sees that there is a change in a defined branch. We was using a main branch, and run a webhook to Jenkins instance. The Jenkins makes a git pull and receive code from GitHub. Together with the code, it received Jenkins file with pipeline code, and then it builds application, test application, and a deploy application by SSH connection to production server, and then running inside this production server bash command to git pull application from GitHub and start application. And that's how it works. So guys, that's all for today lesson.
Thank you very much.